From the Up Coast Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlton here with Barry Trammell. It's time for our weekly We Pick 'em segment. Barry, we've got a slew of NFL games and one in-state game that might be of interest to folks. Let's get right to those NFL games, though, first. Saturday games, there's a couple of good ones. New Orleans goes to San Francisco. Barry, who you got?
I got the Saints because I just think Drew Brees is almost unstoppable. But this is a fantastic game because the 49ers are built to stop New Orleans. They got those linebackers that can rush and defend, really good defense, ball control. I like the 49ers a lot. One downside for the 49ers, the weather's going to be nice in San Francisco.
Yeah.
They needed a damp day. They needed the Candlestick to be a mosh pit. Looks like it's going to be nice.
Yeah, I said last week, I think it was, that as long as Drew Brees is on the field, I'm picking his team, unless they're going against the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. So Drew Brees expected to be on the field. I'm going with the Saints again. But yeah, this is a fantastic game. And Barry, we talked last week about some games that had matchups with teams that were unexpected, teams we hadn't seen in the playoffs in a while. Here's San Francisco, a team we have not seen in the playoffs in a while. Jim Harbaugh doing fantastic stuff out there. I just think this first go-around is going to be a little tough to beat the Saints. In this one, I'm going with the Saints. All right, the main event on Saturday night, probably the game of the weekend. Denver goes to New England. Barry, who you got?
Well, I got New England, but I tell you what, here's the way you pick a Tim Tebow game. When you think he's got it going, pick against him. When you bury him, pick him to win. Last week I said he was a terrible quarterback, and the truth is he's not a very good quarterback, but the magic is back. The magic is back.
Yep.
31 yards of completion against the Steel Curtain. So
unbelievable.
You can't count out Tim Tebow. Something special is going on. But the problem when you go to New England is anytime they snap the ball to Tom Brady, you got something special. So
Yeah.
I think New England's going to score too much for Denver.
Yeah.
But I do think Tebow's going to make it interesting.
Yeah, I do too. I picked Tebow last week. Got it right, even though Barry's over here yelling about 35-3, the Steelers could win. Well, I didn't think it would end like it did with the overtime and the dramatics, but that's Tim Tebow's style. But I tell you what, New England's pass defense, not very good, but I just don't know if Tebow can exploit that like I think Tom Brady can exploit the Denver defense when he has the ball. He exploits every defense, folks. So I'm going with New England in this one, but would you be surprised if there was something crazy happening in this game? Why would there not be something crazy happening in this game?
I would be surprised if Denver wins. That would surprise me.
All right. Game number 3, on to the Sunday games. Houston goes to Baltimore. Barry, who you got?
Well, I got the Ravens, but I got to tell you, you got to give it up to the Houston Texans.
You do.
You lose your top 2 quarterbacks. You lose your star receiver for much of the season. Andre Johnson's back. You lose your defensive whiz, Mario Williams on the end, rushing the passer, and you keep winning. You win a playoff game, and now you go to Baltimore, where you at least have a fighting chance. Kudos to Gary Kubiak at head coach, Wade Phillips, who's bucking to be the greatest defensive coordinator in NFL history.
Stuff.
Everywhere he goes, his defense produces. Head coaching, little spotty, defensive coordinating, fantastic. So I'm going to pick the Ravens because I don't believe in TJ Yates. I don't like third-string quarterbacks, but Houston's going to make it a ball game.
Yeah, you know what? I picked Houston last week. I thought they could win at home. You know what? I'm picking them again. I know this is going to be tough going to Baltimore. Going to be a sea of purple up there. People are going to be amped up, excited. It's going to be a tough place for Houston to win. But I tell you what, that defense, it is outstanding. They won that game last week because of that defense, and as Barry said, they've lost guys, and yet they still find a way to get it done. I know that people, for marquee matchups, that Denver-New England game is going to be looked at, but as far as pure football, I think this is going to be a really fun game. All right, the last game, boy, it's a good one. Another one, but it's the playoffs, for goodness sakes. The New York Giants, your G-men, Barry, go to Green Bay. Who you picking?
Well,
you sticking with Eli this week?
I'm not sticking with Eli. I got the Packers.
An upset.
But this is the best game. This is as good a game as the NFL could ever have. This is a game that plays good in 1964, it plays good in 1985, it plays good in 2011. The Giants at Lambeau on a late Sunday afternoon. It doesn't get any better than that. Go back 4 years ago when we had the NFC title game. Same teams, same locale. Green Bay thought we're going to get another Super Bowl out of Brett Favre, and then at the end the Giants pull it out in overtime. This is a fantastic game. The Giants are playing great. They can rush the passer. They got Eli Manning at quarterback. They're going to make it a great game, but I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's the best player in the National Football League. I think the Packers are going to win by a whisker.
Yeah, I love Aaron Rodgers too, and he's the reason I'm picking Green Bay in this one as well. But I tell you what, nobody in Wisconsin, nobody associated with the Packers has to like this matchup, Barry. The G-men are playing in a way that has to scare anyone that comes up against them. And that includes a great Green Bay team. Let's remember, this Green Bay team, until it met up with the Kansas City Chiefs, was flirting with a perfect season, and it looked like it was legitimate, Barry. So this is really a fantastic football team. But you know there has to be some part of them that says, oh my gosh, we're facing the hottest team in the league right now. This is a really, really good Giants team right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a fabulous game. If you got to pick one game to watch, that's the one to watch.
All right, lastly, an in-state game that's of interest to a lot of folks. It's a Bedlam matchup. This one, women's basketball, Barry. Oklahoma goes to Oklahoma State on Saturday. It's an 11 o'clock start. Who you got in this one?
Well, I am going against the law of averages because I always like home teams, but I'm going to pick the Sooners to win this for this reason. OU hasn't won a Bedlam in any sport this calendar year, this school year, since August. Sooners are 0 for Bedlam. Football, cross country, soccer,
yeah.
whatever you want to come up with. Men's basketball. I think Sooners have got to win one at some time. I think Oklahoma State's done a fabulous job recovering from the plane crash. Jim Littell's doing a super job with that team. They're a good, solid team. Sooner women are okay. They're fine, but they're nothing special by Sooner standards. I think OSU might be the better team. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on this Oklahoma State Cowgirl team, though, because of all the circumstances. At some point, I think they're going to have to stumble. I think the law of averages helps out. I think the Sooners get a win.
Well, I'm going to go with the Cowgirls, and you're right. There are some things average-wise playing against this team, and I do think there will be some pressure on the Cowgirls. But I tell you what, I love their team. They went to Baylor midweek, and they hung with Baylor for a half. Now, Baylor blew them out in the second half, but Baylor blows out a lot of people. So this OSU team, they've got size inside. They've got good guard play. They've got some young talent that's not afraid to get out there and play. And I just think their athleticism and that height, I just think that's something that Oklahoma's going to have trouble countering. So this is going to be a fun Bedlam matchup, Barry. I think the women's Bedlam matchups this year are both going to be really good. It's not at the Andrea Riley excellent OU team matchup. That's not why, but I think these two teams are really competitive with each other. I think this is going to be a fantastic game on Saturday. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.